Welcome to That's the Word, wholesome tales for the whole family. I'm Father James Yamauchi. Today's story, Lean on Me. One of the perks of leadership is the ability to delegate off large projects to capable subordinates. The old man was very happy to let the younger subordinate take this project. However, as with any project, the leader has to be somewhat involved to support his team. The old man knew his duty, but even for as strong a man as he, at his age, spending all day on his feet was tough, raising stuff under the hot sun. The sweat poured down his face. His arms ached from the exertion. The weakness of his body frustrated him. He wanted to push through, to be the support his team needed. However, in spite of himself, he began to tire. That's when his family stepped in. His brother and his nephew both saw that he was tiring. They knew how important it was for the old man to remain involved, to support his team in the little way he could. They got him to a place where he did not have to be on his feet. He was still out in the sun, and he was still lifting up stuff. But both his brother and nephew helped him. The work, while appearing to be simple, was not easy. All three were soaked with sweat. Their muscles ached. For hours they stayed there. The old man with his team, and the brother and nephew with the old man. When the old man's team looked up, or his superior looked down, they would see him at his post, doing a very small part to make the project a success. And, thanks to the support of his brother and his nephew, the project was a success. His very capable subordinate mowed down every obstacle. Even though what the old man did on that day appeared to be more moral support than active participation, in truth, his work was the deciding factor between success and failure. As long as he held up his arms, the project went well. But whenever his arms fell, the project turned to the worse. That is why his brother and nephew sat him down on a rock, and each one held up one of his arms, ensuring that the project would be successfully completed and that his team would achieve victory. That was how Joshua and the people of Israel mowed down the Amalekites, thanks to the brother and nephew named Aaron and Hur, and the faithfulness of the old man who led the chosen people out of Egypt, Moses. And for this week, that's the word.
Today's story was suggested by John. So we want to thank you, John, for this story suggestion. It was a great one. I'm surprised we actually didn't think of this one before. So before researching this story, I didn't know much about her. And after we researched this story, I still don't know much about her. There's not that much there. In the Bible, He is mentioned in this story, and he is mentioned in the point at Mount Sinai when Moses goes up. He leaves Aaron and Hur in charge of people. And we all know how great of a job they did.
That was a fail.
That was a big fail. Now, what's interesting is, according to the rabbinic tradition, Hur is the son of Caleb, who is Moses' brother. So he's Moses' nephew. When the people clamor to have a golden calf made, Aaron and Hur are in charge, and Hur says no. And then the people get mad and kill Hur. At that point, then Aaron decides, I should go ahead and make this calf.
To his colossal shame later on.
To his colossal shame. But anyway, that's one of the traditions. There's a few other traditions out there. Josephus says he's the husband of Miriam, or someone else says he's the son of Miriam. But anyway, it seems that he is in some way related to Moses.
I think a lot of times when we think of the figure of Moses, we think of Charlton Heston. And Moses plays such a key role in salvation history and prefigures Christ in so many ways. In fact, it was him and Elijah, out of all of the Old Testament figures that were present at our Lord's transfiguration on Mount Tabor. It's worth revisiting these chapters and these accounts of Moses leading the Israelites and understanding how he was as a leader and how he was as a disciple of the Lord. There were moments of great frustration, and there was moments of great success in his life, and also some failures. I mean, he was not allowed to enter into the promised land because of his infidelity to the Lord. And yet this very imperfect man, Moses, is a great model of faith and a great model of a leader of God's people. And it's worth reading those chapters in the Old Testament that speak of Moses.
If you enjoy That's the Word, please share the word. You can see the story extras for this story, Lean on Me, at thunderrock.org, where you can see an account of all the fantastic information we have on her. Thunderrock.org is also where you can sign up for our weekly newsletter and where you can find our email and our social links if you have any feedback or story ideas like John did.
Thanks for listening, and join us next Wednesday for another wholesome tale for the whole family.